Eagles lost. Eagles got smoked. Eagles, well, it's going to be a long-ass bye week. We're talking Eagles losing 33-16 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's overreaction Monday. Bring the heat. Bring the hate. Whatever you got to say about your Philadelphia Eagles, this is your moment. Trending the AM is live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good sort of morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow. Do me that favor, head down to the links in the description, find my personal YouTube page, Trending the AM, and hit the subscribe button on that as well. I am your host, Phil Stiefel, and we got lots to talk about today. We got lots to dive into today. We got lots to bitch and moan about today. Look, it's an overreaction Monday, and we are going to probably overreact massively in a negative way to yesterday's 33-16 loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to get into it, but please, guys, hit those like, share, subscribe, go in the description, hit all the links. Follow everywhere you can, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all other social media platforms at Beard and Knowledge. I'd greatly appreciate that. And yeah, Eagles lose. So let's get right into it, guys. Barb from last night was even jumping in the comments. Hope you're watching. Oh, I was watching it. All right. We're going to hear a lot of Jalen Hurts sucks comments today. I am very prepared for this. Little G, what is up? Yeah, exactly. Drew is in right away. Question for Nick would be, instead of stepping in on offensive play calling, why don't you tell Vic to stop calling soft coverages? There was a lot of issues with Vic Fangio's defense yesterday. The offense wasn't pretty, but when you're missing three of your top stars, three all-pro players, it's going to be ugly. Defensively, they were healthy, and they stunk like ass. And I warned y'all when we hired Vic Fangio that there were going to be moments like this, that we weren't going to like it. Hurts did not play well, and Hurts had one bad turnover again. But again, Hurts wasn't the biggest problem yesterday. But I understand, Brian, I'm going to not disagree with you 1% today, because you're allowed to feel the way you want to feel. It was an embarrassment out there on all sides of it. An underprepared team, not motivated to win. When do we start to look at drafting another quarterback? The guy is not good. Again, you know what? That's fine if you want to think that way today. I put out on Twitter, it just started a few minutes ago, a poll that you can only move on from one, Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni. Who would you choose? Nick Sirianni's blowing everybody out of the water. I would love to know what Jalen Hurts would be like with a coach that either A, doesn't meddle in the offense, or B, a coach that knows exactly how to utilize Jalen Hurts properly and control and reel him in from being the gunslinger. Pretty sure Devin White gave info to his former teammates. Devin White's out there liking and retweeting plays from the Buccaneers. He wasn't even at the game. I think he got like a drug test request too. Weird, the whole Devin White thing. And this is the problem with the Eagles. You got an undisciplined, unconnected locker room. You got Devin White, who's been inactive for 4 weeks, who probably could help this team. He's out there. Not out there even on the sideline this week, and he's liking and sharing things. Social media problems. You got Darius Slay after the game chirping on social media about what he used to do years and years ago. You got fractures. Although you got the Bryce Huff stuff that happened the weekend, wiping the social media clean of Eagles stuff. This team is in some. This team's on the. Last year, the locker room collapsed late in the season. This year, the locker room is on the brink of collapsing already. Since the start of the 2023 season, Hurts leads all quarterbacks in turnovers, and Eagles are 3-9 in his last 12 starts. Dude is a running back playing quarterback. Look, I don't know about all that. I still think Jalen Hurts is a very solid quarterback, but we might need to realize some of his limitations and some of the play calling too. I mean, look, let's talk about the fumble of Jalen Hurts. You're driving, you get the team back into the game with a score there. Yes, he's got to know when he avoids that guy that he's still in the play. But why is Grant Calcaterra running a 35, 40-yard route down the middle seam of the field as one of the key things? That shouldn't even have been a play call. That shouldn't even have been a route run yesterday. The Eagles offense will be fine to an extent when A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson are back there. He was pressured like 15 times yesterday. I think 9 of them came from whoever was going one-on-one with Fred Johnson. So the Eagles offense will get better. Now, we will have to deal with the turnovers, it seems like, for a very long time. But it is what it is. Do we really think that it's the defense calling or it's the personnel, but they don't have on the – do we really think it's the defensive play calling or it's the personnel? I think it's both, Mike. Maybe we overvalued some of the talent or players because I don't know if they're talented or not. I think there is talent on this defense. Jalen Carter is talented. He wasn't great yesterday, but let's be honest. Nobody was. Quinyon Mitchell gave up some plays, but he's still overly talented. Everybody that had a big game last week had a shitty game this week. Reed Blankenship before he went out. Everybody went out with cramps on that defense. And I'm just going to say it. That's on everybody coaching-wise, not having these guys properly hydrated for 100. You didn't see everybody on the Bucs getting cramps every other play. There's another thing right there. Happy Monday morning to you too as well, Judd. Good morning to you. Sirianni had this team unprepared again. Dude is a boob. Yeah, that might be an understatement. A boob right there. It really might be an understatement of a description of what Nick Sirianni is right there for sure. I hope Howie has a backup plan in the process as the Hurts Sirianni experiment is over. Yeah, it might be. What's up, Joe? Look, I know it's Overreaction Monday, but at the start of the season, if I said the Eagles were 2-2, I predict it. See, this is a great positive overreaction comment. I said the Eagles would be 2-2. I said they were going to win, lose, win, lose. That this schedule was uber difficult, excessive amount of travel, 2 new coordinators, a lot of new players. There was going to be some hiccups. I said that. But then in the moment, you just don't feel it, Joe. That's the problem. Like, you know what's happening. You know what's going to happen. But then when it happens, you hate it. That's kind of where I'm at, Joe. Too many 5-7 drop plays when – exactly, Drew. Why are we calling 5-7 step drops when you don't have A.J. Brown, when you don't have Devontae Smith, when you don't have Lane Johnson? Later in the game, you didn't have Cam Jurgens. You had to slide Landon Dickerson to center. But you're still calling 5-7 step drops. You ran Saquon Barkley 10 times. Saquon Barkley should touch the ball every game at least 20 times. So, as much blame as Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts needs, Kellen Moore needs some blame too. Time to tear it down and start over. You don't got to tear it down and start it over. You could tweak, but you don't need to do that. The defense can't tackle. This was the problem last year. I said this in the offseason before the season started. What, did we magically think by bringing in Vic Fangio, these guys would learn how to tackle magically? I mean, it's true, Thomas. It's the same problem as last year. Head coach didn't have his team prepared. Both corners had piss poor game planning. Didn't help that Devin White gave away secrets. I would be shocked if Devin White's on this team after the bye week. Because of practice squad elevations, guys coming back from the injury list. Devin White might be a roster cut in the coming days here. It would not shock me at all. Blaming the defense is one thing. When you go three now, first four drives, the defense, 3 and out, first 4 drives, the defense spent. Oh, I tweeted that as soon as, I think it was after the second drive. I tweeted out, Mike, like this team is going to be gassed in 100-degree weather. Gassed. But this defense needed to make a stop, and they didn't make any stops. They were missing tackles left and right. They made Baker Mayfield look like a combination of prime Tom Brady throwing and on that touchdown run, prime Cam Newton running. Like, that's how good Baker Mayfield looked yesterday. Baker Mayfield's the definition of average. Yeah, he out there slinging the ball like it's nothing. Hurts stinks, Phil. And guess what? There's at least 10 quarterbacks better than him in the NFL. I still don't think there's 10 quarterbacks better than him. I still don't. I knew what you meant there. CJ, not the same as he once was. CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yeah, I mean, he had one good week. I don't even know what the final number was. But somewhere in the second quarter, they put a graphic up on the screen mid-game that they had already missed 10 tackles. And Chauncey had some of them. For sure, Thomas. Reed wasn't having a good game. Milton Williams got beat. Avonte Maddox missed how many open tackles? Nakobe Dean can't cover tight ends, but they have him dropping in the coverage. There was a play where Nolan Smith dropped in the coverage on Chris Godwin. He actually had pretty good coverage on the play. Like, why are you having Nolan Smith cover one of the 15 best wide receivers in football? Like, why? Why? There's a lot of blame to go around. Are you okay? I thought of you. I saw your comment before the night was even out last night, Barb. Look, it was a fiasco. I actually, legitly, we were meeting my sister and her family for dinner last night. They came to our house to pick us up, and there was still a whole quarter of football. So about 7 minutes left in the game. I'm like, all right, we can leave for dinner now, guys. Like, I didn't even watch the last 5 to 7 minutes of the game. I said, screw it. Like, I'd rather go sit with my family and have dinner. Big Al, I mean, Sirianni might be the biggest issue. And I was all for giving him a chance. I'm not for firing a coach mid-season when you've got Super Bowl or playoff aspirations as a team. But it might be, but even if you're over Sirianni, what are you going to do? I don't want Bill Belichick in there. I guess you could promote Kellen Moore. He's going to be a head coach at some point. Does that really change the fact that these guys refuse to tackle? Does that really change the discipline and preparedness of this team? Maybe, maybe not. Beginning of the year, I said 9-8. I'm sticking to that. Look, I said 2-2 in the bye. After the bye, you've got a very easy schedule. I think I still got it here in the overlays. Hang on a second. Yeah, after the bye, you've got Cleveland. You've got the Giants, Cincinnati, Jacksonville. You've got 4 very winnable games right out of the bye. So this season is not over yet, okay? But I get the frustration. I get the way everybody feels right now. Got to utilize the – I mean, again, why in holy hell did Saquon Barkley have 10 rushes yesterday? 10! 10! I know we were down, but let's be honest. Till the end of the game, we were never truly out of this game. Never truly out of the game. And we had 10 rushes from literally the guy, and he's still, even with only 10 rushes, he still leads the league in rushing. You gave the ball to him 10 times. Stupid. I agree. Too many 5-7-step drops. Absolutely should have been 3-step and boom, hit the wide receiver. Yeah, absolutely. If they lose to Cleveland after the bye, Sirianni will be gone guaranteed. Well, if that's the case, you might as well just fire him now, Derek. There's no need to keep. If Nick Sirianni or if Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are having a conversation today that they are considering firing Sirianni, if they even have to have that conversation today, they should just fire him now. They just should. Give the full 2 weeks to get Kellen Moore or whoever else up to par. Mike Vrabel, maybe. I don't know. There's no reason to keep him if you're already questioning your decision to bring him back. You just get rid of him now. You cut ties now. Same moronic coaching and playing that happened during the monumental collapse of 2023. Absolutely. Look, John, everybody jumping in fires here. It definitely seems, like I said, I'm running a poll on my Twitter page at Bearded Knowledge. You can only get rid of one, Sirianni or Hurts. You have to pick one. Sirianni's blowing Hurts out of the water on this one. Put Hurts under center. They were earlier in the season. I don't remember it happening too much, Thomas, last night. This game was terrible. The defense got pooped down right away. That heat, the heat was the problem. Devin White tweeting, Joshua, all your comments, all very valid. Just think of Tampa Bay didn't drop all those passes. And yes, Mayfield is not a better quarterback. He's playing better than Jalen Hurts, but he's not better than Jalen Hurts. Let's start with the Jalen Hurts hate. That's bitchy poo. You're a little late. We've been shitting on him for 15 minutes here. Should have brought the pickle juice to keep. I was thinking of that, Rick. Where was the hydration of these players? Like, who do we blame for these players not being properly hydrated and properly cared for and properly prepped for the heat yesterday? That's what I want to know. When will they accept that Dean is not the answer at inside linebacker? I don't know if Dean's not the answer. Dean is trying to figure it out on the fly. Dean's a good linebacker. I don't know if he's great or not. He's had moments, but yeah, he didn't have a great game yesterday, but no one had a great game yesterday. Hurts was ranked 15th this year as a quarterback. That's what he is. I don't know. Also, Hurts was named number 2 in overrated quarterbacks in the NFL by NFL players Talk text team. Talk texting never works on YouTube because I gotta interpret your comments and all. This year and last year, he absolutely was better than Hurts. Oh man, what's up, TMC? Hey, your Bills didn't look too good last night either. See you guys in February, Tal. Oh man, jeez. Other teams see Eagles on schedule and they think easy win. Rick, you might not be wrong. Why did they sign Barkley and not rush him more than 10 carries for Saquon Barkley is an utter, total disaster. Okay? Why did Barkley tap out early in the fourth? Probably exhaustion. Probably. The heat. I was getting to a lot of those players. Sirianni in week 4. I said Sirianni in week 4 in off season. 3 points in first half against Saints. Look, I don't think they've scored a single point in the first quarter of a football game this year. Yeah, Sam Darnold does look like an MVP. I think he was hurt. Not sure, though. Saquon Barkley did take some really bad hits as well yesterday. He got folded up a couple times. That defense of the Bucs was playing and hitting hard. Not dirty hard, but just hitting hard. Davey saying he wants Belichick. I don't know. I can't say I want Bill Belichick. Just going to say it, Davey. I think time has passed him by. I am not looking for Bill Belichick here. Okay? What about Mike Vrabel? He's still out there. I don't know. Somebody tweeted at me about Mike Vrabel still being available, and I'm not a huge Mike Vrabel fan, but I'm like, why not? At least I'd contemplate it today on Overreaction Monday. Imagine abandoning the run when your best player, Saquon Barkley, freaking 0 yards, 0 points, and 1 turnover midway through the second quarter. He had 2 carries at that point. Freddie Burns, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. It's a disaster. It's ugly. It's unfortunate, Freddie. And I see somebody was starting some trouble that Saquon Barkley says he wishes Kellen Moore called the offense. And I think that was fake news, and it wasn't really that report. People were running with it. But you could clearly see that Nick Sirianni still has too much influence on the offense. You can also clearly see what Kellen Moore is. Kellen Moore is always going to pass more than he runs. Thanks, Mike. I kept wondering why Gainwell was in there. Yeah, that's always something they've done. They've always tried to keep their guys fresh to an extent. But yeah, the fact that you were even in the first half, you had them out there and you just weren't utilizing them. Not utilizing them at all. Bills take a load management game every 4 games. Is that what it was? Gotcha. Hurts and Sirianni reached their pinnacle when they went to the Super Bowl. They've been trending downward ever since. Never going to win a championship with Hurts as quarterback. I don't know about that. I think with the right coach, with the right game plan, you could get Jalen Hurts back on track. You just got to reel him in a little bit. You got to, do something. Maybe he does have some limitations. What's up, Brian? Good morning. Very disappointing loss by the Eagles. Don't use the heat as an excuse. Well, the coaching staff is horrible. The heat thing for me, Brian, is the fact that they were ill prepared for the heat. Just like they were ill prepared for the turf in Brazil, they were ill prepared for the heat. Plain and simple, in my opinion. Something they just weren't prepared. Where can I get a Washington Commanders jersey? Rep the district, you guys around. Hurts stinks. Aiden Network says, Everybody stinks after yesterday. Belichick is greater than Sirianni. Maybe. Maybe you bring Bill Belichick in for the rest of the season, just in an interim basis to help bring some discipline to this team, and just completely give Kellen Moore all the offensive control. I don't know if Bill Belichick and Vic Fangio's defensive styles would mesh either. But maybe. Out by game 4, could still be right. It's highly unlikely that Nick Sirianni is going to get fired, guys. I know we all want Nick Sirianni fired. I know we all want, well, some of you want, Jalen Hurts gone. The odds are it's not happening. Just be realistic, guys. Most likely, they are here for the duration of the season. Then after the season, then that discussion becomes part of the conversation. Defense of the Bucs knew what was coming, and so did the offense, thanks to Devin White. Look, I don't know, man. Could this really be a true thing? Like obviously he was out there tweeting and stuff and chirping, in favor of the Bucs mid-game on social media, which he deleted all that stuff. But it was still there. And he's out there, I didn't mean to do it. It was just an accident. I meant to like a post and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. But Devin White probably will be cut. And not just because of this, but because of numbers crunch on the roster. You got certain guys that can't be elevated from the practice squad anymore. Someone like Paris Campbell needs to probably stick around. So you need a roster spot for him. So, you'll have Sidney Brown coming back to the active roster soon. You're going to need a roster spot for him. So these roster spots that are going to be needed are going to probably go to Devin White's spot. Did time pass Fangio by? Look, Fangio is exactly who I said he was. This is exactly what I tried to warn y'all about Vic Fangio. Tackling. Maybe play the damn games in the preseason. Yeah, definitely got to reevaluate the preseason process. Got to reevaluate. It's a good thing Saquon or Jalen Hurts didn't throw any interceptions in the, or turn over the ball in preseason games or in training camp practices. Look, the tackling issues are the same tackling issues we had last year. Same. It hasn't gotten any better. Agree, Rick. Ever since Sirianni prematurely celebrated the Super Bowl and Hurts had to calm him down. Remember that? All downhill from there. Yeah. I saw somebody sharing that out on social media yesterday, for sure. And I kind of forgot about that till yesterday. But yeah. And Jalen Hurts, another thing to overreact to, was asked again. So I forget the question about the relationship between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, the communication or whatever. He said, he had an opportunity to stand up for Nick Sirianni again. And what did Jalen Hurts say? We have our moments, and that was it. So again, how much is on Jalen Hurts? How much is on Nick Sirianni? How much of it is that Jalen Hurts doesn't want to play for Nick Sirianni? I mean, how much of that's the case? I don't know. 9-8 looks right, Brian. What? 9 under? Or we're through 9 holes. We're going to be 8 under. Is that what you're talking about? I think you mean on the 9th hole. We're going to be 8 under next Monday. Sandman, maybe Rally House will have that. Yeah, they probably do. Actually, time has reversed back to the 90s. Teams are fighting talent with extra physical play. That is true. Belichick going to be the Giants head coach next year. Can't bring him in here. It's a possibility. What's up, Bruce Price Harper? Look, guys, real quick. Bruce Price Harper makes me think we got a jam-packed week. We're going to bitch and moan about the Eagles all day today, but we're going to talk a lot of other stuff this week. I got a long list of guests this week, starting tomorrow. Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey. He'll be joining us. We'll talk Phillies playoffs. We got Sean Bernard talking Sixers on Wednesday. We got Josh from the Philly Special YouTube page talking Eagles, and we got Nick Faria on Friday. So I got 4 guests in the next 4 days right here on this show. So make sure you hit subscribe and follow. Check the link below in the description and find the Trending the AM YouTube page and hit subscribe. Nick ain't getting fired. Took Chip literally skip Jeff Christmas party to get fired. Yeah, he's not getting fired. He just isn't. I know everybody's going to talk for 2 weeks about it, Freddie, and we're going to talk about it on the show for 2 weeks. I know that. But he's not going to get fired. Plain and simple. Jalen Hurts still better than Joe Burrow? I don't know. What did Joe Burrow and the Bengals do yesterday? I don't even know. I don't even know what the Joe Burrows did yesterday. Sandman, yup. and maybe the Eagles are a soft team. The Eagles are definitely 100% a soft football team from top to bottom. Plain and simple. All week, Devin White was sending terminology the Eagles were calling in practice. The story isn't over. A lot going to come out about that snake. Man, could you just imagine what that would do story-wise in the NFL? No team would ever hire or sign Devin White ever again if that was the case. That would be one of the biggest, craziest scandals. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen more often. But, man, game plans were a problem. Game plans have been a problem all year. Yesterday was not good, but I feel we'll get much better as soon as our two all-pro receivers come back and Lane Johnson. I don't have the stats in front of me, but the record with the Eagles with Lane Johnson versus without Lane Johnson over his career, drastically different. Drastically. This is actually kind of interesting. And we've always talked highly of Howie Roseman on this show, except for when Matty B's around. But a lot of the issues on this team can be directed to Howie Roseman. Some of these signings he made in the offseason. Some of the ones he didn't make. Keeping the coach, which is more probably ownership. But maybe Howie Roseman, Howie Roseman brought in good players, but he didn't bring in the right players. And you've got to blame Howie Roseman for that a little bit. I feel the main thing Jalen needs to work on is that he should try to protect the ball more. Well, yeah, obviously. That was my prediction all along, 11-6. 2-2 to start, and then get hot after the bye. Again, let's overreact. Let's bitch and moan. But let's be honest. Brazil, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, 3 long trips in 4 weeks. Injuries to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson. Injuries on defense. New coordinators, Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. New assistant coaches all over the place. New players all over the place. A rookie started on the outside doing well. All these things. I said it was going to be a sputtered start for the season, but it does not mean the season is over. So 11-6 still could win you the division. 11-6 still gets you into the playoffs. This season is not over. I know it's all doom and gloom on Monday, the last day of September. Wow, it's the last day of September already. Hold on, 30 days have September. Yeah, so there's 30 days. So last day of September. I can't believe it. Man, it's still possible. Eagles are a soft franchise from top to bottom. Very well might be the case. Bill Belichick can right this ship and teach you the Eagles way, or the Patriots way, you mean. If it doesn't work out, do they dump Vic and try a new scheme? I don't know. The Vic Fangio style is something that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman like. Hence why all of our coordinators over the last how many years have been Vic Fangio disciples. And then you got the leader of the band. Not going to win a Super Bowl with Hurts as a quarterback or Sirianni as head coach. But if you had a pick, who's going to hold you from winning a Super Bowl more, Sirianni or Hurts? I think it'll be Sirianni. I think you can win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts if the team is built properly around him. Fire Howie. Look, you know what's funny? Howie ain't going anywhere either. If Nick Sirianni gets fired, Howie Roseman will probably set the record for the GM that gets to hire the most amount of head coaches for the same football team. He has now been here for many, many different hirings. Lurie, Howie have the wrong idea of what a championship team looks like and how to actually build one. Might not be wrong. Might not be wrong. Phil, I feel everyone is going to be down on Jalen, but I feel it's unfair as the O-line is not giving him any protection, which is true. Smith, Brown, and Johnson are out. Exactly. Look, the Eagles offense hasn't scored a single point, Bruce, Harper, in the first quarter of any game this year. They've struggled in the first half every game this year. They've gotten it together in the second half. Problem is when you don't have Brown, Smitty, and Lane, it's hard. And you lost Cam Jurgens somewhere in the third quarter as well. A third for Pickett. I see people calling for Kenny Pickett now, and just drives me nuts. When do we bench Maddox? Corey, great question. Great comment. Who the hell knows? He should have already been cut, fired, benched, whatever. Avonte Maddox is not a player. He whipped on so many tackles yesterday. Oh, my God. Like, I don't know what they're holding Cooper DeJean back for. Like, he's healthy now. He's had 4 more weeks to get in the flow of the system. Hold on, I got the snap count. I think it was 1 snap. Hold on, that's the offensive snap counts. Defensive snap counts. Cooper DeJean played 1 defensive snap yesterday. 1. Make it make sense. The Bucs didn't need Devin to figure out. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Devin White might have helped them, but they didn't need Devin White's help. Roseman assembled an incomplete team. Worst sign of all was Devin White. Actually, Bryce Huff still might be the worst signing. Hate to say it, but it might be. Bryce Huff is the worst one. The Eagles didn't even try yesterday. The Bucs were running a simple offense, high school level players. It really didn't look like, mister, that they were trying, did it? Like, it really looked like they were going through their paces from game. Like, it's almost like yesterday was a Doc Rivers scheduled loss. Segue Wednesday, Sean Bernard getting us set for Sixers training camp in the season. The Packers and Saints aren't great teams. They are not. Phil, want to bet what? Hurts football IQ is below average, as is his arm talent and pocket presence. I think his arm is fine, his arm talent. His pocket presence has gotten better this year as a whole. His football IQ might be a problem, though. It might be. Can't blame injuries, Bruce. Great quarterbacks make things happen. Come on, tell me a quarterback that's going to make things happen with Paris Campbell, Jahan Dotson, and Johnny Wilson as your 3 wide receivers when you're getting every play call as a pass. Now, maybe Jalen Hurts would have done better if they were actually utilizing the run a little bit more to set up the pass. Maybe. Phil, at least the Phillies can win the World Series. They could. I'm not feeling too confident, and we'll talk with Ryan Rothstein tomorrow about the confidence. We're going to talk Phillies playoffs tomorrow for sure. Tanner McKee is better than Hurts. I will die on that hill. Oh, that's going to be a lonely hill for you, Davey. A lonely hill. Maddox is I think time has passed him by. Yes, Kenny Pickett stinks. Tanner McKee ain't much better. So the bench and Hurts thing's got to stop. That it's just not going to happen. You got a better chance. Of Nick Sirianni being fired than anything else happening. We call him Puff. Yeah. Sirianni is a fake tough guy. All that rah-rah on the sidelines, but his team is as soft as, I was going to say Charmin, but cotton candy, that works as well. We need a smart coaching staff and a smart quarterback. I think a smart coaching staff can make your quarterback smarter by taking some of the pressure off of him, the decision-making off of him. Our best free agency signing wasn't even a Howie signing. Zach Bond was picked by Fangio. And that's the thing, that Howie made the mistake in an incomplete team. If you're going to build a defense for Vic Fangio, give Vic Fangio exactly what he wants. Instead of what he doesn't want in Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was another one of those square peg, round hole guys. Was never going to fit the Fangio style. It all starts up front. Jordan Davis took so many plays off and 0 push. I remember watching, I tweeted out, Freddie. I don't even remember. It was just a random play. Early in a drive, early in the game. And I don't know why, but my eyes locked on the defensive line and Jordan Davis. I'm like, let's see what Jordan Davis does on this play. And he got pushed off the line of scrimmage by one guy. Some of that could have been the heat. Maybe he took a play off. I don't know. He just lost at the line of scrimmage, and it turned into a big run play. Jordan Davis is a nice player, but I don't know if he'll ever be an all-elite player like he needs to be for where he was drafted. Was it a game management game since my wide receiver 1 was hurt again? Look, should have been a game management, but it wasn't. Absolutely. Sean Bernard's the best. He's one of the hardest working guys. I mean, he's literally working for like 9 different channels and networks and websites. This guy just pumps out content nonstop, and not just Sixers content, Phillies content as well. As also now, is Nolan Smith still busty? Yeah, Nolan Smith don't. I mean, let's give Nolan Smith some credit. He was forced to drop back into coverage and guard Chris Godwin yesterday. And while Godwin made a big catch on the play, at least he had tight coverage. I don't get it. with Washington looking the way they do, are the Eagles still the favorite? I still think the Eagles are the favorite. Look, Jalen Daniels has been fun for 4 weeks now, but there's no tape on Jalen Daniels. I said Washington could finish ahead of Dallas this year, and that still might be the case. But Washington is still running with a rookie quarterback, guys. So let's pump the brakes. As more tape gets out there on Jalen Daniels will get figured out. I don't buy the Jalen Daniels hype tree so far. Phillies will not win the World Series this year. Rick, I would be shocked. I mean, I would be happy, but I'd be shocked. McKee slander, I will not. Davey's a McKeester. McKeester. You're a McKeester. Arch Manning is 19, and he has pocket presence already. He's going to be a good NFL quarterback one day. I'm not thinking about 19-year-old college quarterbacks right now. Joe Burrow made things happen when his teammates got injured. Jalen Hurts used to. I can fight Jalen Hurts right now. Look, and you're right to feel that way, Brian. You are. Jordan Davis is a snoop bust. I don't know. But Burrow doesn't have Hurts' repertoire of press conference quotes. Well, those quotes are getting a little bit more interesting as they go. Team IQ isn't there. Isaiah Rodgers thought it was a savvy. Yeah, this one right here. Like, why would you even say this to a media member? Why? Why would you even call yourself out for making a stupid ass decision like this, Freddie? Like Isaiah Rodgers, that was such a stupid thing. Stupid. Isaiah Rodgers. Why would you admit to this? Why would you say this, guys? Something seriously wrong with Isaiah Rodgers on that one. Yo, Nooms, I said this. I was curious. I was like, where was the pickle juice? Where was the attention to the details before the game, knowing that at kickoff, the field like temperature was over 100. By the end of the game, it was way north of 100. You didn't see the Buccaneers cramping up all game. And I know they play down there and they practice down there. Well, where were the Bucs players cramping up all game long? How many Eagles players had to come off the field for cramps? Several players didn't even return, like Cam Jurgens. This team was ill-prepared, not just to play X's and O's, but physically body prepared for what they were going to experience. All right, you didn't need pickle juice. That's fine. But I remember there was a part in the game, I think it was in the third quarter, and it was after the Eagles came off the field. Maybe it was after a turnover. I don't know. And the camera went along the Eagles sideline, and Jordan Mailata just looked like he was about to die. The sweat was just profusely pouring. He was gasping for air. He wouldn't sit down to rest. He wouldn't get in a shade. And he just looked like he was going to throw up. We've all been there before. Overly heat exhaustion, heat stroke kind of thing, where we're in the sun too much, not hydrated enough, and we just want to throw up. That's what Jordan Mailata looked like. The Eagles did nothing as an organization to prepare their players for the heat. And how much of it was that? Health does stink. That guy on Jets, good, Reddick. And I know everybody's going to want to ask for Hassan Reddick back. I still don't want Hassan Reddick back. But honestly, at this point, I guess the locker room's fractured. You might as well bring the breaker of the locker room last year back. What we need is to figure out why this locker room keeps fracturing and how to fix that. I don't know if they practice, Barb. This past week, they only ran one practice because they were banged up from the Saints game. So they only had walkthroughs on Wednesday. Normally they do Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday walkthrough. Travel Saturday. And this past week they did walkthrough, practice, walkthrough. This team needs some of those Russian steroids. What's a Russian steroid? Hurts pocket presence, my God, yesterday was so end of Wentz-esque. Man. I hope we're not going down the Wentz path again here. Gatorade got electrolytes. Well, they weren't drinking enough of it yesterday, obviously. Maybe Mark McGuire can hook them up. Is that what it is? Oh, man. If Lane is actually in concussion protocol, he shouldn't be flying. So the Lane Johnson thing is weird. Because there was a report. What's the dude's name from Fox Sunday, the pregame show? Whoever that guy on the Fox pregame show is, said he got a text message from Lane on Saturday saying he was cleared and playing. And then they got to Tampa, and he wasn't cleared. He was out there on the sideline. He was pumping up the dudes before coming out of the tunnel. So I don't understand the Lane Johnson thing. Maybe they thought with the heat, maybe it would pick. I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal is there. He was cleared, then he wasn't cleared. I don't know. I was shocked that he was even in contention to be cleared, honestly speaking. What, Reddick don't fracture nothing. Reddick was a big issue in the locker room last year, supposedly, from some sources. Horrible yesterday, Dante saying. Worst being there at the game watching it. Were you at the game, Dante? Oh, I'm sorry. Any of the Eagles fans travel so well. We go to every game on the road. We spend our hard-earned money to travel to see the game. And they put up a stinker like that. My ink. Oh, yeah, thank you. I got ink all over. I got bubbles up there. I got my piano keys. I got my my Grim Reaper clock. I got my dog. I got my Phillies and Bell telephone tattoo. I got 5 right now. Thank you, though. That's Johnny Vega for you right there. The best in Kennett Square. Yeah, exactly. Poor son of a bitch. Let's get some good news in here. Phillies got by and some rest. We are going to talk a lot of Phillies tomorrow. Ryan Rothstein will be on the show at 8:30, I believe it is. Still confirming the time. We'll also ask him about Matt Van Mitchkoff and the Sixers. We're going to bring a lot of the other teams into the conversation this weekend, other conversations. And Thursday will be Eagles with the Philly special YouTube guy, Jay Glazier. That's right. That's who I was thinking of. Think about it yesterday speaking. I guess I got to get to his next comment. Singletary is getting cut by me. We are done. 2021 Wentz, no receivers, bad O-line, bad ball security by no committee to the run, terrible. Progression holding the ball way too long. No pocket presence. 2020, I think you mean, because Hurts was the starter all in 2021. Look, Wentz had injury issues that derailed him, I think. But also, he had massive success early that maybe built his ego up a little too big, and they didn't put the rest of the work in. Jalen Hurts doesn't have the injury issues, but he got a lot of success early, built that ego up really big. And honestly, I forget what I was watching, whether it was NFL Network or ESPN or maybe I was watching NBC Sports, NBC or Channel 10 before the Sunday night football game. One of the shows yesterday had this conversation about how all the top quarterbacks are struggling, pay-wise, annual average salary-wise, struggling. And then maybe there's a problem in the NFL about giving out these big contracts too soon to quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, 0-4 down there in Jacksonville. Dak, looking iffy. Daniel Jones. Like, we give out these big quarterback contracts, and they fall flat on their face too early in their careers. Let them play out their full rookie contract before you invest $500 million in them. Hey, I appreciate that. Did you really? I wasn't there yesterday. Jalen Wentz. Oh, my gosh, stop. I don't want to even think about it. Yeah, Chris Christopherson and Taggart for you Beverly Hills Cops fans. Unfortunately, we lost multiple great legends in the acting community this weekend. In June, Phillies were telling everyone that they were a record-setting team that was going to win 120 games. Yeah, they've basically been just over 500. Barb, for the last, 75, 80 games. Ballpark 500 team. That doesn't scream confidence. They got issues with Ranger Suarez. I'm not sure if Carlos Estevez can be a playoff closer or not. There's issues. But they get a week to rest up, get healthy. We'll see. I want to face the Mets. I think that's the easiest first-round opponent for us. When we're done with the fake outrage, we can address the elephant in the room. It's all scripted. Yeah, I mean, it felt to me like every single player Tampa Bay had listed as hurt wound up playing. Almost everyone on the Eagles, not so much. Something really interesting about that. Conspiracy theorist. Interesting. Hurts does have injury issues. His knees is shot. Looks like he's towing a trailer when he is not as effective running, especially on the read options. Again, we saw read options again this week. Unsuccessful. And that tells me why Nick Sirianni still has some say in this. I'm telling you, I don't think Kellen Moore is dumb enough to call more read options. He's just not. Jalen Hurts, when he design runs where he's like running like a, straight up the line there, quarterback draws, he's fine on those. He still runs effectively there. Maybe not as fast, but effectively. But those RPOs, those read options, he is terrible at them because he can't react quick enough, and he doesn't have that sideline to sideline speed. Society is struggling for giving millions to athletes, just saying. Celebrity deaths always happen in threes. Oh, geez. I mean, you're true. All things happen in threes in life, Freddie. My wife, as a former funeral director, always tells me that. Things always happen in threes. Deaths always happen in threes. It's not just with celebrities. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, they were two. A good thing that Taggart got to reappear in Beverly Hills Cop one more time. How about Doug throwing players under the bus yesterday? Did he? I did not see that. Doug Peterson will be if Nick Sirianni ain't fired this week, Doug Peterson will be the first head coach fired this year. He has completely lost that Jacksonville team. Doug Peterson, just like Nick Sirianni, may be a one-hit wonder. And no, for the peanut gallery in the back, we do not want Doug Peterson back in Philadelphia. And B, Doug Peterson would never come back to Philadelphia. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Sirianni should be locked up with Diddy. Oh, my goodness gracious. Always got to get a Diddy comment in, right? Cameron saying, Nick Saban said good quarterback can't overcome bad coaching. That's why Nick needs to go. This is a great comment from Cameron right here. Good quarterbacks can't overcome bad coaching. And Jalen Hurts might not be elite, but he's good. He's better than a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. And he can't overcome Nick Sirianni. And look, again, like I said earlier in the show, Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts had a chance to show support to Nick Sirianni. And he chose not to. When asked about communication, I forget the exact question, in his post-game press conference, he said, we have our moments. And then moved on to the next question. And he said it, we have our moments. And he kind of just looked away, no eye contact when he said it. There's a definite disconnect between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And when your star quarterback and your head coach are not on the same page, whether the coach is calling the plays or not, you cannot win. So, I don't think they should fire Nick Sirianni, and I don't think they will fire Nick Sirianni. I don't want to give up on Jalen Hurts. But until we give up on one or the other, this team is going to be stuck in mud. So one needs to go to see if the other one has got anything. That is the problem. Let me guess, the defense lost us the game. The entire team and organization, Marshawn, lost us the game. And yes, Jalen Hurts was bad. And if you're coming on here to say the game is 100% Jalen Hurts' fault to lose, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't. Because he was bad, but so was everybody. Good morning. Yeah. Did they fire? Yeah, I don't know, Eric. Why am I scared of the Mets? I don't know. I'm not really scared of the Mets. I think that's the easiest first-round opponent for the Phillies. MLB Network said the Braves are trying to get into the Phillies bracket because they don't fear them. I don't know why any baseball team in the playoffs would fear the Phillies at this point. The Phillies are an average 500 team, and that's about it. So I wouldn't fear the Phillies at this point. Time to move on from Hurts. Better to be ahead of the curve than behind it. All right? So what do? Are you ready, Rick, to take 3 steps back? Because at least with Jalen Hurts, we have a shot. Are you ready to take 3 steps backwards to maybe take 2 steps forward 5 years from now? Because the grass isn't always greener. You get rid of Jalen Hurts and you draft somebody, doesn't mean you're going to get C.J. Stroud or to the few that think 4 games is enough, Jalen Daniels. You got just as good of a chance of getting Zach Wilson, in the draft. Or Bryce Young. So I don't know if moving on from Hurts is the right answer. The smarter answer is to move on from Nick Sirianni and seeing if a different coach can connect with him and push him forward. Look at Washington. I know he's not the offensive coordinator. We got rid of Brian Johnson as the offensive coordinator, and we had to. But look what he's doing as the passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach and assistant head coach down there in Washington. Jalen Daniels looks like fire, and the offense is moving the ball. Yeah, I know Cliff Kingsbury's this OC down there. But still, just think about that. Maybe the problem wasn't Hurts. Maybe the problem wasn't Brian Johnson. Maybe the problem is Nick Sirianni. See, look at you. You guys are convincing me that Nick Sirianni's got to get fired. I've not seen that many curl plays, honestly. Phantom injury is why Jalen coughed that ball up. What do you mean phantom injury? Stop. I said it was a bad play. Nick Sirianni, Nick Saban replaced Hurts, then he transferred. He did. That's true. What hell has Kellen Moore won to warrant? I said that. I didn't dislike either the offense or defensive coordinator hirings, but I warned everybody early on in the process that they weren't necessarily the best. They both had some success, but no great success. Yeah, not as much anymore as it used to be. The legal team keeping their faith. I'm not keeping my faith. I'm saying it's got to be bad. Did you see the freaking bubble screen? Nick is forcing Moore to run some of the goofy-ass coloring book plays. Team feel. Look, Saquon Barkley ran the ball 10 times yesterday, Eric. 10 times. And it's completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. He's better than some quarterbacks in the NFL. Not a lot. Nick getting so fired. I mean, if I'm convinced that he should be fired, then that's a problem. They should fire Nick and bench Jalen. I don't know. Nick Saban back in the NFL with the Eagles next year. No, I don't know about that. Nick Saban was not really a NFL type coach. I don't know if he can relate to the adults in the room versus the kids in college, even though all our team players act like kids off the field. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe you go get the dude from Houston, the offensive coordinator there. Maybe you convince Detroit's offensive coordinator, was it Ben Johnson? Maybe you get one of those guys. I don't know. Maybe Kellen Moore. I don't know. There seemed to have been wide receivers open coming out of their breaks, and quarterback one wasn't throwing the ball. Look, you got to understand he's trying to have confidence and throw the ball to Johnny Wilson and Jahan Dotson, guys he has no confidence in when he's used to throwing it to the others. Again, not making an excuse for him because he missed a lot of throws yesterday. Not just reads. He overthrew a bunch of guys yesterday. And he had Saquon Barkley, was it the first or second drive, wide open down the field, and he short-armed that throw. That was a terrible thing. You could have 7 points right there on that play. Game's different. Jalen Hurts effed that up big time. Jalen Hurts played bad yesterday. There's no doubt about it. I feel like we, the Core 12, can coach this team to the playoffs. I'm scared of any NFL team capable of scoring 20. I don't know if I can coach. I'm not a good coach. Daniels is the GOAT. No. What happened to the stat about winning? Down 14 in prime position to score, and star quarterback sunk the ship. Look, Jalen Hurts played like shit. Plain and simple, Marshawn. I do not disagree one iota with you on it. He played awful yesterday. So did the entire team. The coaching staff was ill-prepared. The team was ill-prepared. Everybody felt this was a complete organizational failure yesterday. Hurts for Stafford. I don't want old-ass Stafford. No way. Seems like quarterback one obviously can't work miracles with two good players and the rest of the skilled players from Wawa. This guy in his mom's basement don't know. This is my mom's basement. I don't know football. I challenge you to ask what I don't know about football, okay? I challenge you. And I own this. Well, the bank owns this house, all right? Just so you know. I love this. You're hilarious, whoever the hell you are. You're not going to win any friends in this conversation like that. List Brian Johnson's accomplishments and proceeds to say maybe Jalen Hurts isn't the problem. I'm the problem. You're the problem. You can't handle the truth, Marshawn. I'm still stuck on this comment here. I love it. I love when the trolls get involved. Kellen Moore was a garbage quarterback. He was. I need an ad read. I'm just going to fire through them later really quickly. Kellen Moore is making the Birds look as ill-timed offensively as the Cowboys. He passes way too much. Yeah, Saquon Barkley should never have only 10 rushes, especially when A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are not playing. Should not happen. Not at all. He ain't better than Jalen McDaniels. I was team Zach Robinson or Clint Kubiak. Texans guy too. I forgot what's his name? Slowik or something like that. Maybe he'll be our head coach next year. Maybe. Look, if this season continues down this trend of being very mediocre, we will win some games because talent does win games sometimes. We're going to lose some games. Nick Sirianni will not go into next year as a lame duck coach. He will be fired. He will be. And one of these guys could be it. Who knows? It hurts, don't it? What? What hurts? Jalen Hurts, CJ, Darius, Jalen Carter are adults. You can throw in Devin White into that conversation as well. And Isaiah Rodgers as well, Marshawn. Just so you know, I would expect at this point Jalen Hurts would be more mature in his press conferences when he has an opportunity to bring the locker room together. Instead, makes a comment that fractures it even more because that's what he did. So, yeah. If Eagles play Daniels, y'all, yeah, well, we'll play them twice. Sounds like a bunch of excuses. I mean, what else do we got other than excuses? I mean, it was pathetic yesterday. I'm not making excuses. We're just saying it as it is. Saying it as it is. Uh-oh. I see just the top header of a comment. It says talking with Matty B. Means there's a Matty B comment coming in here really soon. Mitch, they not seeing the light. Ben Johnson, great one. Yeah, maybe. Look, Matty, I called you out earlier in the show. I called it out. I was hoping you'd come in. Look, I am trying to blame everybody. Everyone thinks I'm making excuses for certain people. I'm not. I am trying to put the blame on everyone from top to bottom. From Jeffrey Lurie enabling Nick Sirianni to hiring Jalen Hurts and giving out these contracts and drafts. Everybody's to blame. Everybody. He might not have signed and drafted bad players, but he signed and drafted players that didn't fit what we were supposed to do. That you hire people like Vic Fangio to do X, but you give them Y. You hire Kellen Moore to run X, but you keep Nick Sirianni around. You give Jalen Hurts money. Look, Howie Roseman is not free of criticism. Now, Howie Roseman ain't going anywhere. And I brought it up, Matty B, and you're a stat guy, Matty B, so maybe you know this. So he's been responsible for hiring Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, and Chip Kelly, right? If he fires Nick Sirianni, has there ever been a GM that's kept his job and been given the opportunity to hire 4 different head coaches in under 20 years? I don't think so. When was Chip Kelly? Was that 13? So under 10 years, really. Who gets to keep their job like that? So I'm willing to put blame on everybody. This is so not true. Justin Herbert stinks. Chargers doing real good out there, right? What they do? Score 10 points yesterday? Answer Lurie, Howie. Look, I still think Howie Roseman has some proof that Jeffrey Lurie was hanging out some of those freak-offs with Diddy, and that's why he still got a job. And that's the only reason why Howie still got a job. Bills were terrible. Then I'm not worried. Yeah. TMC, team got smoked by 30 or 25-30 last night. He's not freaking out. I guess. The excuses for Hurts is painful to hear. But you got to have there's no excuses for Hurts. But you got to understand it's not on Hurts only yesterday. There are a lot of people to blame yesterday. Okay? A lot. And see, I just want you to blame. I'll blame Jalen Hurts. But give me some blame on other people. Because it wasn't all Jalen Hurts' fault yesterday. It was his fault. But there were other people that failed yesterday as well. Hold on, I just want to go back real quick, just for shits and giggles. There's too many comments to keep bringing up. I don't know football. I love this comment. I love nitwits like that. I love it. The excuse for Hurts. I already put that one up. I ain't mad at that Michkowski. No, we're not calling him Michkowski. Eagles are done, and it's still September. It's September 30th. It's the last day of September, which is weird. This year's going by fast, Kevin. But the Eagles are not done. They come out of the bye with a very easy schedule. Maybe talent wins out. They'll get 3 all-pro players back. The season's not over. Okay? Now, is it going to be Super Bowl good? Probably not. But the season is not over. Okay? Look, Jason, we don't take kindly to folks that talk bad about Phil's basement and the one room his wife. Yeah, I'm not allowed out of this room by my wife outside anything else. Exactly. I appreciate that. When are all you Howie won the offseason people? Now, look, you win the offseason. First off, maybe let me backtrack. I've always said you never win in day one of the offseason. Day one of free agency, you never win. Okay? The people that win offseason and never win the Super Bowl. That's why I'm patient with free agency and the draft and all. But on paper, entering the season, it looked like Howie Roseman did a good job. It looked like he built a good team. Now we're seeing it through 4 weeks. That's not true. So he deserves criticism. 1,000%, Maddie. Look, I'm agreeing with you. I am. He's still not getting fired because he's got that Diddy tape on Lori. Jason Carey definitely doesn't run a pizza shop while following his dream of putting it in. Look, dude, Freddie. I love it. I love that Jason dude. I don't even know who he is. The fact that he came on here, made one comment, and then bolted. Hilarious. Hilarious that people think that that is how to have a conversation. He probably likes Dan Sillyman or something like that, or thinks Chris Simpleton is the best quarterback evaluator out there. So not winning the turnover battle for 9 straight games is concerning. But of greater concern, no points in the first quarter, 6 games dating back to last year. Yeah, is it 6 games? I thought I read somewhere 9 games, maybe. That's concerning. That points directly to the game plan. That's Nicholas. Well, it's not supposed to be Nicholas, but it is. Devin White did the right thing to post. So we spent the first half before you were here criticizing Devin White. Now we're going to spend the last half of the show supporting Devin White. Devin White will not be on this team in week 6, okay? I'm just telling you that. He'll be cut very soon. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was never in that camp. Yeah, Barbara's, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I agree. I may hate the Eagles, but I can't get jiggy with Matty B. Oh, man. Beef with Matty B is a great segment. No, I have no beef with him. I have no argument against Brian Pump, the Pump Man. I have no argument against Marshawn's comments. I have no argument against Matty B's comments. They are what they are. I can't defend this team today. I cannot defend the Eagles today against any haters. I just can't. No 10-1 season this year. No, not at all. Rice Puff sucks. We're not even going to spell his name out right. We're just going to say Rice Puff sucks. It's probably the worst decision that Howie Roseman made all season. Y'all be fine when you get your wide receiver back. We'll be good. Herbert beat Panthers. Oh, good for him. Chip Kelly was a Lori hire. Howie wasn't in that type of position at that point. Okay. I remember when Chip Kelly got hired, but I don't remember all the details and the I was the day he got hired. I was on a cruise that week, so I missed the entire week of sports talk, of debates, of all that stuff. So I don't really remember that part of it during the hiring process. But yeah, but he was still here now through how many coaching hires. So who fumbled the ball yesterday? One Mr. Jalen Hurts, just so you know. Mitch, stop. He was in the broom closet. He was in the broom closet after year 3 or entering year 3 of the Chip Kelly era. Should never let him out. Maybe. Thank you for that. Yeah. Daniels is the real deal. I don't know. I can't say that after 4 games. Do not disrespect Phil. We may disagree, but do it in a Marshawn, you disrespect me, but in a respectful way, right? I love it. I love you guys. Dotson trade a bust. It is seeming like that. You're missing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown 3 weeks now. And you trade a 3rd-round pick for Jahan Dotson. Hold on, I got the box score. I haven't even looked at the box score much today's show. He had 2 catches for 11 yards on 4 targets. Okay? He should have been the number 1 wide receiver on this team yesterday. He had 2 catches for 11 yards. That was a massive. You traded a 3rd-round pick for him. Massive bust of a trade right there. That might actually be bigger than the Bryce Huff signing disaster. Honestly. You gave him a 3rd-round pick. Dream Team. Yeah, Dream Team 2.0, Travis. Yeah, you might not be wrong on that one. Of course, you have an argument again. I always have arguments with you. I will always have arguments. Game plan stunk. Should have run the ball to hold the pressure. Again, We've talked about all show. How do you pay Saquon Barkley? How do you miss your two top wide receivers and Saquon Barkley gets 10 carries in a football game? 10! It was 30 to 20 rushes to passes to rushes. And out of those rushes, 8 of those Jalen Hurts rushes, 3 or 4 of them were not design rushes. So you really had 34 pass plays to like 16 run calls yesterday. It just can't happen when you're missing Lane Johnson, you're missing A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. Just can't have that game plan. As you were a football coach, what position would you coach? If I was a football coach, that's a tough one. Probably the defense or offensive line. I love that kind of play. I love the trenches. I really do. I think I'd be an offensive or defensive coach. I figured that. How many times have I done it today, Mitchie Poo? I'm not even sure. I'm not even keeping track. You be a third, you get a third. Mahomes is greater than Hurts. Well, yeah. I can't disagree with you on that one. All right, Mitchie Poo, you got me on one. Who would you rather right now, Mitchie Poo? The Eagles to cut Jalen Hurts or the Sixers to cut ties with Kyle Lowry? That's the tough one. Mitch and Matty B owned by Phil. Yeah, look, they don't own me. Nobody owns. Well, my wife owns me. Piss poor coaching all the way around. Head coach and corners. Absolutely agree with you 1,000%. I'm not even saying Jalen is going to be Wentz, but I'm seeing Wentz 2020 tendencies on the field. Yeah, and you're seeing it every single week. Quarterback needs coach. This is the key right here. I wish I could circle it and show you. Quarterback that needs coaching. But yet instead, Ray, we have a quarterback and a head coach that let's just call it what it is. They hate each other. They do not like each other. They are not on the same page. And your $200 million quarterback's going to win in that decision process over your coach when it all ends up anyway. You got to find a way to have a coach that Jalen Hurts can work with, that can be on the same page with. The fact that the two of them don't see eye to eye is such an underrated issue because it is a big issue, and we talk about it, but I don't think we talk about it enough. Yeah, fire eyes here. Look, that's just a bad coached, bad disciplined team right there. Plain and simple. Isaiah Rodgers, I thought it was a smart, savvy vet play. Why would you even say that? Why would you say that? Seriously. Phil loves big men. Yeah. Big meat men slapping meat. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather cut Hurts. Kyle Lowry doesn't fumble the ball and doesn't have to run for his life. Stop. Hurts ain't the guy. Dante Culpepper all over again. Get him out. Dante Culpepper, there's a name. Dante Culpepper, man. What was his? He used to do this after his touchdown. I was a big Dante Culpepper fan. I really was. Injuries definitely got the best of him. Dave Robinson, Hurts has no brain off to see the wizard. Challenges. Yeah, look, I get it. We are not hating on Jalen Hurts hate today. Commanders look like they're going to take this division. I doubt that, Eric. What's up, Jimmy boy? Happy Monday. Poor leadership is our biggest issue, not just Sirianni. I don't see the leadership from Hurts. Yeah, Jim. You're not wrong. Guys, you need a realtor. Find this guy online. Jim, #1 realtor, Delaware Valley. Guy's the best right there. You guys aren't wrong. You're all free to have as much criticism of these guys as humanly possible because they deserve it. Real quick, we're going to fire through super fast all of our sponsors, all in one quick foul swoop here. SherryTickets.com, family owned and operated since 1946. Great prices, no hidden fees. Use promo code EOP10 at checkout to save you 10% off. They're already great prices, whether you need sports tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets. Check them out, SherryTickets.com. Obviously, PhillySportsTrips.com. If you want to go up and see the Birds up at the MetLife Stadium or the bus trip to Baltimore. Obviously, our great friends over at Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park, 24 East Sellers Avenue, DolansBar.com. Great food, great times. 65-plus years, Irish-American dive bar of the area right there. And, of course, Cherry Law Firm, David R. Cherry, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com, the #1 lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, whether you need workers' compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law. Check them out, guys. This is it. Again, 610-565-0300. Or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM. Guys, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, that follow button, that share button. Depending on which platform you're watching, look below in the description. There's links to other channels and other pages and things. I would appreciate links and subscribes and follows on everything. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can find me on social media at Beard and Knowledge. Find me and follow me there. I'd greatly appreciate it. How many missed tackles yesterday? I don't know what the final number was, Jacob, but I do know that before halftime there was 10. I don't know what the final number was, but before halftime we'd already gotten to double-digit missed tackles. Jalen Hurts has to be coached the hardest, and he could take it. He played for Nick Saban, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I like this. See, Ray, I got to jump in here more often, Ray. Some good comments from you here right off the bat. Yeah, there was a quick cherry bomb in there today. If you were a defensive line coach, what would you tell Bryce Huff to do to get more pressure on the quarterback? Well, see, here's the thing. I would call plays that I would put him in the position to succeed. Like, he's out here playing technique that he shouldn't be playing. He should have his hand down the ground. He should spread out wide 9, and he should just get after the quarterback. Okay? Instead, they got him standing up. They got him dropping back into coverage. They got him doing this and that. No. You put him out. Go look at his tape from last year against the Eagles when the Jets beat us. When he got that big sack on Jalen Hurts last year. He lined up wide outside. Hand down. Got right after the quarterback. That's what you got to do. Wouldn't be the worst thing for the Eagles to completely bottom out and finish in the top 5 of the draft to try again for a quarterback of the future and clear house on the coaching staff. I know it sucks. Look, I'm not one to say take 2 steps back to eventually maybe take 1 forward, Rick, because the grass isn't always greener. It just isn't. I don't want to start a revolving door at quarterback. I don't. I still have faith that in a proper system, Jalen Hurts could be a good enough quarterback. Maybe not elite, but good enough in the right system with the right coaching. As Ray said earlier, got to coach him better. I'm all for already. In an hour and 12 minutes, I've convinced myself. You want to fire everybody on the coaching staff, that's fine. But I'm not ready to do that on Jalen Hurts just yet. I get the strategy of trying to get ahead of the market, but we can't keep paying quarterbacks after 1 breakout season anymore. Again, I forget whether I was watching Sunday Night Football, the pregame show, or the NFL Network post the 4 o'clock games. I forget what channel I was on, Ray, and they were talking about this. That too many quarterbacks get paid big after 1 good season, and it's a problem because there's a lot. I mean, let's think about it. Jalen Hurts has got his big contract, but I think he's 9th now in the NFL in average salary per year, and it's only going to get lower down as some of these other guys get paid. Problem is, all these top guys. I mean, what's Trevor Lawrence, the 2nd highest paid quarterback per year in the NFL? He's 0-4. The problem is not just with the Eagles doing this. It's the problem with everybody in the NFL doing this, Ray. And I think it is a big issue that needs to be addressed somehow. And I'm not sure how they do it. If they lose to Cleveland, it's over. But I'm treating these 4 games as preseason. And the next game is our true opener. Dale, I think it's smart. No Brown. The Browns suck. And I want to, yeah, dude, agree. Coming out of the bye against the Browns, you got to win the game. Plain and simple. And you got to win it decisively. And hopefully, we're positive next week when we're predicting it. The Eagles are a 7-win team this season. Would be better to be 4-win team to get the top of the draft. I still disagree with you, but you're valid in thinking that after the way we played yesterday. They got Huff doing the hokey pokey. You put your right arm in, you take your right arm out. It's a great Jimmy Buffett song about the hokey pokey. Hurts ain't the guy. Look, you're right in thinking that right now. Joe Hendry is greater than Jalen Hurts. I don't believe in that. Hurts has regressed since getting paid. It's clear. Has he regressed or has he just gotten back to where he really was? Again, maybe. But again, you're right in feeling this way. It's okay. I liked Fangio, but that Chip Kelly square peg round hole thought process ain't it. And that's the problem. That is a problem. Not a top 5 team in the NFC. No teams in the NFL, you're saying, are top 5. And that's the thing. If I'm interpreting your comment, Jacob, the right way, you're saying that the NFC is weak, and even if we get to 10 or 11 wins, we can win the East and have a good day. Like if I'm reading you correctly, I am on the same page with you. There's a lot of mediocre football in the NFC being played right now. Any given Sunday is such the answer right now. This is not the same explosive scrambler that we saw 2 years ago. I don't know with what that injury was last year, but it affected him long term, just like Carson. Absolutely agree with you, Ray. I'm going to be real, Phil. Brian saying, I would like to run the fair ones with Jalen Hurts. The fair ones with Jalen Hurts. I would steamroller that fake motivational speaker. I'm sorry. I would like to run the fair ones with Jalen Hurts. I would steamroller that fake motivational speaker. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Rephrase, please. There are still stars on this team, but we don't have the right coaching staff to utilize them. I agree with you. I do. I agree with everybody today. Commanders are playing great right now. They are. There's just no tape on their quarterback yet. That's all there is to it. Fangio scared to blitz even though Eagles spent money on draft picks on the secondary. Look, Vic Fangio is not a blitzing defensive coordinator. Tried to warn everybody about this. I was like, oh, well, we got the creator of the system, not a disciple of the system. I'm like, look, this is not going to be Jim Johnson's defense reincarnated this year. It's not. Vic Fangio is the epitome of bend, don't break defense. Problem is, they're bending and they're breaking at the same time this year. So again, just as much as Jalen Hurts stunk yesterday, Vic Fangio and the defense were equally as stinky yesterday. I mean, I'll speak Phil's language. I would hit Jalen Hurts with the clothesline from hell. JBL's out there showing up at random indie events, hitting the clothesline from hell. I love it. It's one of the greatest clotheslines of all time. The defensive line coach doesn't call plays. That's the D coordinator's job. What would you tell Jordan Davis to do to get more pressure on the quarterback? Stay in shape. First off, Jordan Davis is never going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but he's got to get that first step to push into the backfield so that they didn't have to double team him yesterday because he wasn't getting that push. I would work on getting him. If I was in charge of Jordan Davis, I would be working on his physical staying in shape more than anything else because that's the key to him. Bring back Hassan Reddick, find a way. Huff and Nolan are useless. They won't win consistently. Look, I was against bringing back Hassan Reddick because he's part of the problem in the locker room last year from what I understand. The problem is the locker room's fractured already this year. So what can one more, locker room breaker really do? I mean, at this point, what harm can it do? By the way, I haven't looked it up. I saw right before we went live. Bryce Huff ain't going anywhere, guys. Not yet. I saw a tweet from somebody. I didn't get a chance to do the research on it, but the dead cap hit from moving on from Bryce Huff is so massive. So the Howie Roseman kicking it down the line could really backfire on the Bryce Huff situation. Smith, Bryce Huff only occupying roster spots. Ghosts. Pretty much. Dude, you know what? I didn't watch the Colts game yesterday. But Anthony Richardson, did you guys see what happened to him? He got hurt. Got off the sideline. They put him back out there. He limps back out onto the field after like 3 or 4 plays. The first play call when he limps back on the field, a design quarterback run, he takes a big hit, and he's out of the game. Is that not like Shane Steichen? We love Shane Steichen, right? We all wanted Shane Steichen back here. But who's making that decision? I'm curious. Today's 76ers Media Day. That's fantastic. Sean Bernard will be on Wednesday. We'll talk all things Sixers with Sean Bernard on Wednesday's show. At 8:30, he'll join us in that portion of the show, and we'll talk that. The Eagles team is a mess top to bottom. Shit rolls downhill. It's pretty shitty at the top, and now it's shitty at the bottom, too. I mean, we can agree on this comment, Rick, 100%. Jim, when will Devin White get on the field? Never. Devin White, I've already said it, Jim, multiple times on the show, will not be on this team in week 6. There's too many roster spots that need to be opened up. He's obviously not doing well. He's obviously giving plays away. He's obviously wishes he was still in Tampa. I remember when I tweeted about Devin White like 2-3 weeks ago. And literally the tweet blew up with like literally hundreds of Buccaneers fans saying, see, you guys got our problem now. The Bucs fans don't want him back either. Okay. I'll still take him over Hurts. Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't take Richardson or would take him over Hurts. I wouldn't, but anyway, the bad coaching decision from the Colts yesterday to put their quarterback in a position to get hurt like that was insane. Devin White is a horrible teammate. It seems like it. Oh my God, Mitchie Poo. I'm writing this one down. I gotta address this in greater detail. Man, I don't know why, but it might be the most accurate description of Jalen Hurts. Doesn't Jalen Hurts have a no trade clause? I'm not sure on that. I still think there's a way for him to be effective again. Yeah, you just got to get the right coach, right play calling, right offense, good defense around him. He's not going to win us the Super Bowl, but you could create a team where he could do just enough to get us there and hope the defense wins you the Super Bowl. We will talk a lot of Phillies tomorrow with Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey. But I think I want the Mets early on. I do. Something in my mind. I see Bryce. I see Rhys Hoskins hitting a huge home run in Philly for the Brewers. That I don't want to face the Brewers for that reason. You know, Bryce. Remember when Rhys Hoskins slammed the bat in the NLCS or was it the World Series? That big moment at Citizens Bank Park. I don't want him reliving that as a Brewer. So yeah. I talk about how innovative our team and front office is. In reality, it looks like we are the opposite. Everyone else in the NFL looks like they are years ahead of us. It's possible. The running back has to be your MVP, as good as Saquon's been. He shouldn't be the one carrying you, and he's the only one carrying you right now. It's an issue. And he's not even getting the ball. Phil, I would stop. Bryce Young is probably the worst quarterback in football. And that's counting backups, too. Him and Will Levis. And the Commanders don't want Dotson back. And we gave up a third-round pick for a guy we can't get the ball to. With AJ and Smitty out, we still have more talent than any team in our division. There's no excuse. There is no excuse. No excuse. Jalen Hurts is Tobias Harris. He's looking more like Tobias Funky. Oh, man. Guys, we're getting close to the end here of Trending in the AM. Guys, please make sure you're hitting that like button, that share button, the subscribe button. Do me a favor, please. I ask you, link down below to my personal YouTube page. I would really greatly appreciate all of you watching on the EOP page to also subscribe to my personal Trending the AM YouTube page. I have some ideas to do some more stuff, but it's going to be solely on my page on top of Trending the AM. So I greatly appreciate each and every one of you checking down below. It says Trending the AM YouTube. Click it. Click subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I'm almost at 100 on that page. I'd love to get it to 1,000, but I need your help with that. At what point do we hold Howie accountable? Not only have the draft picks been failing, now some of the free agent moves are not panning out. We have to hold him accountable. We do. Just getting to the Super Bowl and losing is even worse than getting there. It's about winning. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I agree. Jalen Hurts is a woke. Stop. Now you're just pulling out every. Next thing you're going to say is Jamarcus Russell's better. Dang, missed with an. Honestly, I won't lie to you, Freddie. I have never seen a single episode of Arrested Development. I'm not embarrassed to say that. Never seen a single episode of it. We are now into season 5 of Breaking Bad. There's about 10 episodes left of Breaking Bad. So we're almost done that. And then we'll get on to the next show that we binge. I'm not sure what the next show will be. The wife and I. Guys, we've bitched about a lot of people. We've only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to save it probably for tomorrow. But we barely talked about Darius Slay chirping today. Darius Slay played like shit yesterday. Yet he's out there chirping on social media about, well, I used to be good. Look at all. If you're going to say how bad I was, don't forget how good I was too. This is the problem with this Eagles team. That there is no Eagles team. There's an Eagles locker room filled with individuals. And I think that's the best way to sum up this show. Everybody is accountable. Everybody. But the problem is, everybody, there is no everybody. It's individuals. I think that is a big, big issue. Individuals do not win a Super Bowl. Individuals do not win football games. A team wins football games. A team wins a Super Bowl. I think that's the best way to sum this up. And that's why I am leaning towards not the Jalen Hurts, the Nick Sirianni side. That while I didn't want to fire him, maybe it's necessary because he's built a locker room of individuals and he has not been able to find a way to bring them together as a team. Oh my God, yes, I've watched Sons of Anarchy. It's a great show. I'm not a fan of the final season of it. I don't like the way it ended, but it was a fantastic show. It might not be. It's like somewhere in that 4 to 6 range for me, 4 to 7 range of best shows of all time, but it's a fantastic show. And when I was in Mexico last week, funny side story, maybe Ben's watching. Ben said he likes football, so he might be watching quietly. He said he was in an MC. He said there are some truths to the way Sons of Anarchy was filmed and the stuff that goes on. Maybe they're not all doing as much illegal stuff as they did in Sons of Anarchy, but there's a lot of truths to what goes on in the Sons of Anarchy, he said. $500 super, I wish. Do you think the Eagles will right the ship? I do still have faith. I do. There's a much easier schedule upcoming. There is talent. You're going to get A.J. Brown. You're going to get Devontae Smith. You're going to get Lane Johnson back in week 6. This team will be fine. The problem is, what is fine? This is not looking like a Super Bowl team because they are not a team. Go down the line of captains. Who on that list are you taking serious? They're all unserious and soft. Yeah. I mean, look, again, all the captains are individuals. The captains should be bringing the team together. They're not. You're right, 100% right. They don't feel like a team. That Eagles Super Bowl winning team was a team. They weren't the best, but they found a way to win. Yeah. We're because the locker room has been fractured so many times, it's a bunch of individuals playing for individual success, not for the betterment of the team. And I think it's damn shame. Shane Falco. Well, Shane Falco is my favorite quarterback of all time, even though he cost me a ton of money in the Sugar Bowl. How worried are you about the Commanders? I mean, long-term, yes. This season, not so much. I'm not hyped about Jalen Daniels like everybody else yet. This is what happens when you don't remove the cancer. The team quit last year. When you quit, it gets easier and easier to quit after. Perfect answer. I think this is the answer that we pretty much end the show on. This is how we sum it all up. It is what it is, guys. Look, we'll continue talking Eagles this week. Yes, I've got great guest BRINK coming on to talk other things, but we will continue the Eagles conversation as well. Tomorrow, Ryan Rothstein will be joining me. We'll talk Phillies. Before and after Ryan joins the show, we will continue Eagles conversations, of course, for sure. My best friend who hates sports and fun got married the night before the San Fran game last year. We're 3-8 since their wedding. I'm petitioning for their divorce. Look, those are the kind of things I like. I love this. I love this comment. It's great. I love it. Yeah, Kevin, Eric is spot on. Spot on with his comment. This has been a day of great comments today. This has been a great show today. Great viewership, everything. Again, I can only ask you guys one more time because we're about to wrap up. Click the links below in the description. Find my Trending in the AM YouTube page. Hit subscribe. Got some new things coming down the pipeline for that. So, guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap the show up right there. Trending the AM on Edge of Philly Sports. You guys have a great day. Ring the bell. Go Birds. And bubbles up to y'all.